Nothing like filming a reading wrap up and then you get totally caught up rereading the manga that you just read this past month, because that was totally me. Hello friends, happy Friday. It is the 25 days of manga, and as I shared yesterday, if you want to check it out in this link to the video, I am doing 25 days of shoujo and josei, but today is an exception because I am just talking about the manga that I read throughout the, manga and manhwa and webcomics that I read in the month of November. I'm very, very excited. There were so many fantastic and great titles. So let's go ahead and jump in with the big one that I read for the very first time that I've had on my shelf for a good hot minute is Sacrificial Princess and the King of Beasts. Yes, I finally read this. I have a video review up if you'd like to check it out. I loved this series so very much. I can definitely see why the people who have read it really enjoy this and just say that it's such a special kind of story, because it really, really is. The messages woven in this are so powerful. It is a fantastic slow burn romance, and even the politics are very, very engaging and very interesting. I was so happy with how it ended. I was supposed to say when it ended, but I was happy with how it ended, but I very much was sad that it ended. Like, I love the characters. Princess Amit forever is amazing. I'm very, very excited for the anime. It is just a great story that I would highly recommend. I'm sort of like, Laura, why did you leave it on your shelf for so long? But it definitely was worth the wait. I'm so glad that my husband let me get the whole series, because I just definitely binge read this at the beginning of November. Very, very, very good series that I would highly recommend. The next manga I read is a series that me and my husband deeply, deeply enjoyed, and I definitely gushed about it in the last week's Top 5 Wednesday video, and that is Miss Miyazan Would Love to Get Closer to You Volume 2. I love this series so much. It is so precious. These two are absolute precious little beings, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, I need Volume 3 to hurry up and release. I have Volume 4 already in pre-order. Like, it's only a 4-volume series, which is so heartbreaking because I'm like, I am not ready to say goodbye to these characters. They're so, so sweet. If you enjoy shonen, romantic comedy, romance contemporary, this series is one. Do not pass. It is so fluffy, so cute, very, very sweet. For the next series, it's a 2-volume series, but that I read is Kenka Bancho Otome Loves Battle Royale. It is 2 volumes. I finally read this. I picked this up for my birthday because I remember Marg at Marguerite's Manga, she had talked about on her Instagram saying that it was a fun short series, and it was. It was a hoot. The only thing that I was a little bit disappointed about was the ending, because it's very open-ended, and I'm just like, I don't know. With things that happen, I wanted certain things to unfold. I do have a video review coming of this later this month, so I'm not going to say much else about it, except it is a fun series. If you're looking for a short shoujo series that has fighting, not graphic or gory, that has plenty of guys and very good friendship and just some shenanigans, this is a very fun series to check out. It really made me want to play the game, honestly, and I wish the game was available in the States, because I definitely wanted to continue the series, or the story, and very much looking forward to my video review coming out later this month, where I can talk more, or where I share more about this series. Oh my goodness, this one came early and I was so ecstatic. I read that thing ASAP, and that is why Ray Leanna ended up at the Duke's Mansion Volume 2. Oh my goodness, this was just as good as Volume 1. Oh man. Oh man, just oh man. I have a video review up of Volume 1. I can't say much because I feel like I'm gonna go into spoilers, but I will say it was a pleasant surprise to see that there's more fantasy aspects that are popping up in this series, and it seems like it's going to take more of a fantasy turn when it comes to Volume 3. I feel like Volume 1 really didn't have much fantasy. I will say Ray Leanna is so cool. She can kick butt. She can do things like get it done. Like, girl, you do it. You do it. There are some really good panels in a very specific moment. I won't show pictures of it. I'm like, it is so cool. Like, Ray Leanna is an amazing heroine. I continue to love following her in her story, in her journey. I'm here for the romance. I feel like it's sort of slowly growing, and I'm just like, oh, my heart is so happy. It's so very good. It's so very good. Everything about this volume was perfection. The art continues to be absolutely amazing. Very, very just much enjoyed this so much. And man, I cannot wait for the anime. Like, I heard the voice actors and I'm like, thank you. Thank you. Like, they sound so perfect, so good. Hopefully volume 3 won't get pushed back or anything. Maybe it'll come out even early. I got this sent from Right Stuff like 2 to 3 weeks in advance. And I'm like, okay, like I thought I had the wrong date, which was fine by me. I'm like, please send it early. So I definitely continue to strongly recommend this series. It is so very good. Very much wanting and looking forward to volume 3. One of my most recent reads is this wonderful josei, so good, and that is Embrace Your Size, My Own Body Positivity. It is a wonderful, inspiring, and encouraging read. This is my first nonfiction manga I've ever read, and I want more. I very much found it easy to read. The art style is so precious. It's so good. It's a very it's a very fun story, but that doesn't feel accurate because it does talk about some heavy topics, but the art really makes it feel less intimidating or less scary when it comes to that, especially since it's talking about weight and body positivity, the lack of or having. It's a very moving read. I do have a video review of this one coming. I believe it's next week, next Thursday, so stay tuned for that. I won't say anything else about this except for I highly recommend it regardless if you are dieting or if you're trying to lose weight. A combination of the two. Honestly, it's for any woman that struggles with their own body positivity and loving their body as is. Very moving and very wonderful story. So glad that Yen Press published this. It is definitely needed and was very personally inspired and encouraged. My latest read that I actually read last night, and I forgot to say, so let me pause right here before I almost wrap up this video. We're getting close to, I should say, there's still a few more things I need to feature, but I only read 27 books this month. But even though I was participating in the, I think it's 30 and 30 manga challenge that Shay Geeks Out was hosting, I didn't quite reach the 30, but I read so much fan fiction this month. I have read more words that were not in manga than I have in probably 2 years. I have barely read any novels this year. I didn't read much mini novels last year, but like 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I went and looked up Haikyuu fan fiction and I just fell down that hole. I mean, I fell down. It's super duper hard. It was so amazing. It was so wonderful. Almost every night now, I look up the hashtag on Tumblr where it's called Haikyuu Fluff, and it is so good. I really loved it. I was like, this is amazing. I very much have enjoyed it. So I'm very excited that even though I didn't reach the 30 volumes for the 30 and 30 manga challenge, I feel so happy and content with the manga that I did read and how I just read something that wasn't manga and have been so excited to read fan fiction. It is wonderful and amazing. I guess you could say I discovered fan fiction like 2 weeks ago, but during that time is right after the Yen Press announcements. They announced the manhwa Bloody Sweet, and for whatever reason, I was super intrigued about this. I don't like vampires. I mean, I'm okay, I'll read them occasionally, but it's not my cup of tea. I'm like, if we're gonna do paranormal, supernatural, give me werewolves or something. I was like, I'm super intrigued by this, and I went and looked it up, and I binge read the entire 4 volumes, the entire series in 2 days. I could not get enough of this story. It is so good. I'm like, I am getting this physically. I really enjoyed it. It's different than I expected. I was telling my husband, I can't say the one thing that I told him because it'd be a spoiler for the end, but what I found really unique about that series is like you have Korean folklore, you have Christianity, a little bit of Buddhism, and Western vampires all pulled into this series. The story is, I was going to say very lighthearted. I feel like that would not be an accurate statement because it is lighthearted. It is a fun series. I really love the romance, even though the romance is more in the back burner. But what makes this story definitely one that was like, I need a breather, is the bullying that is shown. That bullying is very intense, and there is definitely some trigger points I feel like in the series. That's where I needed a break, where I'm like, oh my goodness, like you have so much compassion, so much heart for this main girl, and it's just like, I want the happiest of things for you, and it makes you so thankful that Feticho, the Western vampire, is in her life. It is a very moving and wonderful story. I highly recommend it. Again, it has a few different triggers, and if you're like, I would love to know those triggers, DM me on Instagram or Twitter and I'll totally let you know. But I really feel like it is such a wonderful story. Very excited that Yen Press is releasing it because I am totally here for it. And since I guess we're talking about manhwa, because like I said, I didn't do the digital at the beginning and I couldn't figure out why. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm like, I don't remember what it was. But the other manhwa I'm reading is What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. I started reading this thanks to my friend Vampy on Twitter, and she is here on YouTube as well. It is so good. It is so good. I have really, really enjoyed the characters so much and the way the romance is developing. I'm just like, the guy, the hero, he is a hot mess. Like, he's so arrogant and he's so prideful and he's so bossy. I'm just like, dude, how does Miss Kim put up with your shenanigans, man? Like, he is something else, and we're starting to see more of those romantic inklings, and I'm like, I'm 100% here for it. I want to see how this story unfolds. It's a very, very good. I'm also planning to pick this up physically because I just really enjoyed it. Every time I get an update from Tappy Tunes saying, hey, your free chapter is ready, I'm like, let's go read it ASAP because I need to know exactly what's going to happen next. This is not the only story that's happening with, because I'm also reading the digital manga Loving Yamada at level 999, and it is so good. Oh my goodness, like, we are getting the romance. I'm like, they're so sweet. They're so precious. I've really, really enjoyed this one. I don't know if I started in November or if I started at the end of October, because I know there's a few days this month that I did not read my daily free chapter, but it is so good. I highly recommend it. The anime is coming out, I don't know if it's in January, but sometime next year. 100% here for it. Really hoping that this will get a physical release. It is very, very good. I've really enjoyed the gaming aspect, how it's been a very slow burn romance, and how the age gap, because it's only like 2-3 years, I think, of an age gap, has been done so very well, and it's just been an amazing story. Our main girl is so cheerful, she's so sweet, and I'm just like, I love them. I ship them so much and have very much appreciated the direction of the chapters as I've been reading them almost nightly. It is so good. Highly recommend that one as well. And then finally, for the actual final volume that I read this month that I was always going to feature before I forgot about my digital reads, is Coffee Moon. This book was trippy. Not in a bad way, but I asked myself more than once, what is going on? I am hooked though. I am very much looking forward to volume 2. I feel like while there's times in the beginning I enjoyed it, I love the art, and the story itself is very engaging, but there's a lot of questions where you're like, what in the world is happening? Why are things this way? Because basically our main girl, I don't know how you say her name. It always looks like Peta, but I'm like, that's not her name. But she has been stuck in yesterday's today. So she's repeated the same day over 1,000 times. And her friend remembers, like, hey, we just had this day yesterday. And so it's more or less, yeah, together, can they reach a new tomorrow, or will they be stuck in another today? I don't know if it was purposeful or not, but this message of making the most of today and living life to your fullest and just not going with the routine, so to speak, was very powerful. And the end had me like on edge. I was like, I didn't expect this, so I really want to know what's going to happen next. And that officially, friends, are all the books and manga that I read this month. It was a great month of reading. Very excited with all the things that I read. Let me know, what did you read last month? What were some of your favorite reads? I would love to hear about what you read, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!